let's talk about one of the most chilling and just plain baffling maritime mysteries of all time. We're going to dive into the story of a ghost ship, a crew that died in terror, and a final, frantic message that has had people scratching their heads for more than 70 years. Right here, this is where the story ends. And it's also where our mystery begins. You're looking at the last two words ever heard from the SS Orang Medan, a final, terrifying transmission, and then just silence.
So how did we even get to that point? Well, it all kicked off with a series of desperate distress calls. And these weren't your average SOS signals. No, these were picked up in one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, and they painted a picture of absolute horror. What's so wild about this whole thing is just how fast it all happened. Picture this. It's February 1948, a totally normal day out on the Strait of Malacca. Then, bam, an SOS cuts through the radio chatter. Almost immediately, there's a grim update that the crew is dead. And then, just moments later, you get that final, chilling sign-off. After that, nothing. Radio silence. Let's really break down what was sent out over the airwaves. The Morse code operator starts with a standard SOS, but then he adds this horrifying detail. All the officers, captain included, are dead. Then he follows up, saying the whole crew is probably dead too. And then you get those final two words coming from the man himself, a ghost on a ship of the dead. So with the Orang Medan silent, the race was on to find the ship and figure out what in the world was going on. And this next part of the story, this is where things go from just strange to genuinely terrifying. Okay, so the closest ship that heard the call was an American merchant vessel, the Silver Star. The captain hears these frantic messages and doesn't hesitate. He immediately changes course, steaming full speed ahead toward the last known position of the Orang Medan.
Now, when the Silver Star finally arrived, they weren't greeted by a shipwreck or any signs of a battle. What they saw was the Orang Medan just floating there, perfectly intact, calm on the waves. But something was deeply wrong. No smoke from its funnel, nobody on deck, just this profound, eerie silence.
A boarding party from the Silver Star cautiously climbed aboard, and what they found? Well, it was something straight out of a nightmare. The entire crew, every last one of them, was dead. Their bodies were frozen in these postures of absolute terror, faces locked in silent screams, eyes wide open, staring up at the sun. There were no wounds, no signs of a struggle, just pure, unfiltered fear. Even the ship's dog was found dead, snarling at some enemy only it could see.
And the man who sent that final, desperate message, they found him right there in the radio room, slumped over his equipment. His fingertips were still resting on the Morse code key, as if whatever killed him had struck in the exact instant he sent his last word.
You've got a ship full of bodies, but no clear cause of death. The mystery was only getting deeper. The crew of the Silver Star figured the best thing to do was tow the ship to port for a proper investigation. But, as it turns out, the Orang Medan had one last secret to share.
Just as they were getting ready to attach the tow lines, smoke started pouring out of one of the lower cargo holds. The boarding party knew this was bad news. They had to get off that ship, and they had to get off right now.
The crew scrambled back to their rescue boat, and just moments after they got clear of the ghost ship, there was one single, massive
explosion. The Orang Medan was literally torn apart. It sank beneath the waves in minutes, taking every single piece of evidence with it. Every body, every logbook, every clue, gone. Swallowed by the sea, forever.
So with the only real piece of evidence now sitting at the bottom of the ocean, all we're left with are the witness accounts and one giant question. What on earth could kill an entire crew with fright and then cause the ship itself to just blow up?
All right, let's walk through the main theories. First up, you've got the most logical one, a dangerous cargo leak. Maybe something like potassium cyanide mixed with seawater, creating a toxic gas that killed the crew instantly. That would explain the lack of injuries. Then, another volatile chemical like nitroglycerin could have triggered the explosion. Theory 2 is pure conspiracy, a secret mission involving nasty materials from Japan's infamous Unit 731. And finally, you have the supernatural, which honestly is the only theory that really tries to explain those looks of absolute terror on everyone's faces.
And here's what really adds fuel to those conspiracy fires. There's no official record of a ship named the SS Orang Medan. Not in any major shipping register, including the famous Lloyd's Register.
That suggests it might have been a ghost ship in more ways than one, operating under a fake name for some kind of illegal or covert mission.
And get this, in 2003, a CIA file was declassified. In it, an official wrote that he believed solving the Orang Medan case could be the key to unlocking tons of other unexplained mysteries at sea. The fact that the CIA held onto this for almost half a century tells you they thought this was way more than just some spooky ghost story.
So, where does all this leave us? We're left with one of the greatest maritime legends of all time. It's the perfect mystery, right? No bodies, no shipwreck to examine, and no single clear answer.
Now, if you want the most logical, scientific explanation, the chemical leak theory really does hold the most water. A secret, post-war smuggling mission with dangerous, improperly stored chemicals? It could explain the sudden deaths, why there were no injuries, and that final dramatic explosion. It's definitely the most plausible scenario.
But at the end of the day, without the ship, it's all just speculation. The truth literally exploded and then sank to the bottom of the ocean. And because of that, the story of the Orang Medan has sailed out of the pages of history and straight into the realm of legend.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. When the only proof of a terrifying event is the story itself, can you ever really find the truth? Or does it just become a permanent, chilling mystery of the sea? A tale told by sailors for generations to come?